The last verdict. A courtroom revenge story. David Holloway had it all. A successful career, a loving wife, and a promising future. As a top corporate lawyer, he had defended the powerful and prosecuted the corrupt. But his world came crashing down when his best friend and law firm partner, Marcus Langley, framed him for embezzlement. David was arrested, stripped of his license, and sentenced to 7 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. His wife, Julia, left him, and his reputation was shattered. But in that cold, dark cell, David made a silent vow. He would take back everything that was stolen from him. While in prison, David studied every case, every loophole, and every mistake that had led to his conviction. He spent hours in the law library, memorizing the legal intricacies that could turn the justice system in his favor. He made friends with ex-convicts who had been victims of Marcus's dirty dealings. With each story, David's determination grew stronger. He had lost 7 years of his life, but he had gained something even more valuable, a plan for revenge. The day David was released, he walked out of prison with only one thing on his mind: justice. He couldn't practice law anymore, but he knew the system inside out. He started working behind the scenes, exposing illegal dealings and planting legal traps for those who had wronged him. Marcus, now a wealthy and powerful attorney, was untouchable, or so he thought. David had uncovered evidence that Marcus had been bribing judges and manipulating verdicts. He leaked documents anonymously, sparking a massive legal investigation. The moment David had been waiting for arrived. Marcus was put on trial. The irony? The same courtroom where David had been convicted was now the stage for Marcus's downfall. But David wasn't done yet. He had one final move. As the prosecution presented their case, a mystery witness was called. The doors of the courtroom swung open, and David Holloway walked in. The crowd gasped. Though he was no longer a lawyer, he had one last trick up his sleeve. He had recorded a conversation with Marcus, in which he admitted to framing David all those years ago. The evidence was damning. Marcus's face turned pale as the recording played. The once mighty lawyer stammered, trying to deny it, but the jury had already made up their minds. The judge's gavel slammed down. Guilty. Marcus Langley was sentenced to 20 years in prison for fraud, bribery, and perjury. David stood outside the courthouse, looking up at the sky. He had lost so much, but at that moment he knew one thing: justice had been served. The past was behind him. The future was his.